How strong you are is one of the best predictors of how long you're going to live, better than your blood pressure. But how much strength training is optimal? Well, the biggest study we've ever had just answered that question, and it's more reassuring than you'd think. In this video, I'll show you exactly how much you need, why strength training is so brilliant for health and longevity, and right at the end, one simple tweak that makes your training even more effective for no extra time. And if you've heard grip strength is the best marker of longevity, partially true. You might think all you need to do is exercise your grip. I'm afraid it's not quite that little. Let's get into it. So it is true, large studies have shown that how hard you can squeeze really strongly predicts your chance of a long and healthy life. But here's the important message. Grip strength is simply a sign of your overall body strength. That's what keeps you healthy, not the strength of your grip muscles. But people who are strong all over tend to have a strong grip. So should you abandon grip strength training? Well, there's actually one really surprising reason to do it, and I'll come to that at the very end. For now, the real question, if it's not grip, what is your overall body muscle doing that keeps you alive longer? We think of muscle as the thing that moves us around, but it's far more than that. Here are 5 of the most important things your muscle does to keep you healthy. Number 1, it controls your blood sugar. Your muscle is the biggest user of sugar in the body. Your muscles do most of the sugar clearing out of your blood. The benefit is simple. More muscle used regularly means more sugar taken out of the bloodstream, so your blood sugar runs lower and steadier, protecting you from type 2 diabetes and from the damage high blood sugar does to your arteries, nerves and organs over time. Less muscle and movement has the opposite effect. Number 2, it acts like an organ. Muscle is much more active than we used to think. When muscle contracts, it releases healthy chemicals called myokines that have positive effects around the body, including lowering inflammation and keeping your brain and other organs healthy. Number 3, it strengthens your heart. When you contract a muscle hard, you briefly squeeze the blood vessels running through it, and your heart has to push harder against that higher pressure. So it is a form of exercise for the heart. Do it regularly and the heart adapts and gets bigger and stronger. Number 4, it's your reserve when you get ill. Muscle is your body's protein store. When you're seriously ill, injured or recovering from surgery, your body often can't take in enough. So it starts breaking down your own muscle for fuel and raw materials to keep your blood sugar up, feed your immune system and repair damaged tissue. In intensive care, patients can lose around 2% of their muscle a day, so the more muscle you've built, the bigger the reserve you have and the better you tend to cope through illness and injury. And number 5, it's what keeps you off the floor. Strength and the speed to use it is what catches you when you trip and cushions the fall. And this is not a small thing. In an older adult, a broken hip is genuinely dangerous. In the year after one, roughly 1 in 5 people don't survive. Staying strong is one of the most important things you can do to avoid frailty. So it steadies your blood sugar, it strengthens your heart, lowers chronic inflammation, it's your reserve when you're ill, and it lowers your risk of injury. That's what you're protecting. So now for the key question, how much training do you need to do to optimize your health and longevity? And the best study on this has just landed. A few weeks ago, a team at Harvard published the largest study of its kind. Nearly 150,000 people followed for up to 30 years. Here's the headline you may have seen. The sweet spot was around 90 minutes to 2 hours a week, where the risk of dying was lowest. Now that might seem like a lot, but there's an even more reassuring message beneath the headline. Because when you look at the actual numbers, most of the benefit comes early. Just half an hour a week already gives you around 2/3 of the maximum benefit. Going from there all the way up to 2 hours adds some more, but not convincingly so when you dig into the statistics. So it brings us back to this curvy linear graph that you might have heard me discuss before. The greatest gains from nearly every healthy action come right at the start, going from nothing to something. That's when the curve is steepest and the benefit's the greatest. Doing more will provide more benefit, but it flattens more effort for smaller and smaller returns. And for strength training beyond 120 minutes, there appears to be no significant added gains at all. The curve truly flattens off. So might you be doing too much? Well, beyond 2 hours a week, potentially. And one more thing the study made clear, strength training works best when it's paired with some aerobic exercise, which the study made clear was the better of the two if you had to choose one. But together they provide the greatest benefit because they work in different but complementary ways. So here's the key message: do not discount small wins. The secret to longevity is being consistent, doing a few key actions for the rest of your life, and small, manageable amounts appear to be highly effective and are the easiest to start and the easiest to keep going, especially if, like me, you don't enjoy it or you feel you don't have the time to commit to it. In just a couple of minutes, I'll show you my exact strength training routine, just over half an hour a week total. How can you make it so short yet effective? Well, let me introduce you to the single set. So a quick refresher for those less familiar: in strength training, for each exercise like a biceps curl, a single movement is a repetition or rep, and a set is a number of repetitions done in a row. Say a set of 8 repetitions. You might rest, then do another set. Now, many people who do strength training will do 3 or 4 sets per exercise, per muscle. But here's the key thing for health and longevity: a single hard set per movement gets you the large majority of the benefit. In beginners and in older adults especially, one set has been shown to build strength, muscle and muscle quality about as well as multiple sets. Extra sets do add a little more, but it's a small increment, and it mostly matters when you're chasing maximum muscle size. For health, one good set per exercise is an effective dose. Do a series of exercises that way that cover the main muscle groups, which I'll come to in the next section, a couple of times a week, and you've got a genuinely worthwhile routine in a fraction of the time most people spend. Now, how hard should that set be? Well, there's a term: training to failure, doing reps until you simply can't do another one. Your muscles reach a failure point. But here's another interesting finding. The research is clear on this. Stopping 2 or 3 reps short of failure builds essentially the same strength with less fatigue, less strain on your joints, and a much smaller spike in blood pressure during the set. Especially important if you're older or just starting out. The strain of reaching true failure is where injuries can happen, and it doesn't appear to be adding much extra. So, a single set per exercise with a weight that brings you close to failure, somewhere between 8 and 12 reps. Now, one extra safety point while we're here: breathe out as you lift and don't hold your breath. Holding your breath under effort is what sends blood pressure spiking. So exhale on the hard part. So what exercises would you do? Well, the first thing to say is that your body doesn't know what type of resistance you're using. It just needs the muscle to work against a meaningful load. Now, there are plenty of ways to provide that: body weight, resistance bands, dumbbells, weights, machines in a gym. And the best option for you depends on your starting point, your age, what you've got available, and what you'll actually stick with. None is better than another. Then you want a series of exercises that cover the main muscle groups: legs, back, chest, shoulders, arms, and a little core. Start small and build the weights up over a series of weeks. You want to practice the movements first and let your bones, muscles, and tendons adapt to the heavier loads. So I'll share with you what I do. I don't like strength training. I know I wouldn't stick to it if it was long, intensive, or meant traveling anywhere. So I bought some dumbbells and I do it at home. If I'm not going to enjoy it, I want to make it as easy as possible. I picked 10 exercises that cover the main muscle groups. You'll see them on screen now. I do a single set of each with a weight that gets me close to failure within 8 to 12 reps, and I built that up slowly. Each session takes about 17 minutes, and I do it twice a week. Now, I've been doing this for a year alongside a complete life reset. I've lost 20% of my body weight, and every health metric I measure is above average. Not all down to the strength training, of course, but what surprised me was the impact on my muscles. They've genuinely grown, my strength has improved, and I'm more defined than I've ever been on a little over half an hour a week. Now, does this study change anything for me? Well, yes and no. I feel great that the study confirms what I suspected, that small amounts provide strong benefits, and making it really easy helped to build the habit. It's so easy to do, there is no excuse, and consistency matters more than intensity. But I am going to add a third session a week because I find it so easy, and it appears that there are some additional gains to be made. That will take me up to around 50 minutes total per week. If you're starting out, that's the right order. Lock in the habit first, then build. 2 short sessions a week is a brilliant place to start. So before I wrap up, 2 last things which really surprised me while I was researching this. The first is that little tweak to how you train, which I mentioned at the beginning. So everything so far trains your strength, but the newest research is pointing at something a little bit different, your power. Not how much you can lift, but how fast you can produce force. That's what powers a quick reaction, and that fades faster than strength as we age. So what this means for you? Well, first focus on building a sustainable strength routine, but once you've got that down, you might want to adjust how you move on a few of your lifts. Push the weight up quickly, then lower it slowly. Same exercises, no extra time, one small change. It's early days, but it may add a little bit extra. And the second, the one remarkable reason to squeeze a gripper after all, done one specific way, a moderate squeeze, about 1/3 of your maximum, held for 2 minutes, rested and repeated 4 times, 3 times a week. It's been shown to meaningfully lower your blood pressure, and not by a trivial amount, by something in the range of what a low-dose blood pressure tablet does. So it's a genuine tool, a nice complement to whatever else you're doing for your blood pressure, and you can literally do it on the sofa while watching TV. So how strong you are predicts how long you'll live, and the best evidence we've ever had says most of the benefit comes early. A great starting point, 2 short sessions a week, a single set per exercise, stopping short of failure, keeping it short, keeping it consistent, and perhaps moving a little faster on the way up. And don't forget to do some cardio as well. If you want the full framework I used across sleep, food and movement, there's a free guide link in the pinned comment and the description below. And put any thoughts or questions in the comments. I try to get back to every single one. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, take care.